Hi, this is Susan. I'm back with the Willowcrest build, and I was still looking at colors when we left off, and I had the stairs that I was showing you in the side, and I pulled them back out and I'm painting them. So let's look at the house, and you can see I've done some priming, and I like to put white in there before my wallpaper. And the reason is the wood will just drink up I use the border paste, and it will certainly drink it up. Here's something I got at Home Depot. If you're looking for it, it's ultra clear strippable wallpaper adhesive. So I'm going to try this. I always use border paste before. I don't think they have the same thing. Okay, so I wanted to show you some colors that I saw. I have not decided. I'm not even close to deciding yet, and that's so funny. But, here's your typical pinks. I went on Pinterest, and I saw a whole bunch of colors, so I just want to share these with you. So you've got a variety of pinks. I thought that this buttery kind of yellow would be pretty with the white trim. And this was pretty. This kind of off pinks, and these are all from Home Depot. These samples, these are bare, and maybe some Glidden. And then I saw this, and I thought that was really pretty too. And there was a Pinterest dollhouse in all of these colors, if you go on Pinterest. And then I saw this, and I just loved this one. I keep thinking of that, but that takes specific wallpaper to, match your. It's kind of a purpley pink. So I would have to definitely look into the wallpaper to match the house. So those are just some thoughts if you haven't decided. Okay, so here we are. I've painted this, and I've tried to do a faux finish. And next I'm going to put some varnish on it before I put it in. And here's the trim pieces that are the stair, the banister, and then they come down. This goes in like this on the side, and then the wall will come in next. You have to wallpaper. Before you put your stairs in, you need to wallpaper that area because you can't move the stairs out. I tried to see if you can manipulate the stairs, and you can't. And then this is supposed to be put on. Now I wanted to talk about this too. See this piece right here? As you go up, see if I can show you from a distance. So you go up the steps, come up, go up this way. They'll be in this direction. They'll go into the side of the house this way, and then come up here. So this, you see, here's the doorway coming in. Well, I noticed that on Pinterest, people were putting wallpaper behind this. And I thought about, you could, before you put this in, if you don't know for sure, you might want to make a template. I made a template just to be sure that my options are open, and I can slip a piece of wallpaper in there, or I can cut out the different pieces and put those in. And you could put like coordinating to your wallpaper, just coordinating pieces, or you could put like a poofy look and then put braid around it. So definitely put braid around it if you put something poofy or quilted. Even a quilted look would be pretty. So I wanted to show you how I get this look of this faux finish. This is not, these are all the wall sides, but I went ahead and painted them. You don't have to. But I start with, these are both called burnt umber. So I'm showing them to you because they are so very different, even though they're both called burnt umber. This is a very dark chocolate. It's got like black in it. And that's what I started with, because between the pieces, that gives you shadowing and dark between the pieces. And so I liked starting with that. Now you could start with this brown. It's not as dark. You could even start with a red, a real dark red, if you're doing red furniture, you could do oak if you're doing, you know, get an oak look if you're doing oak, or even do white stairs or do black stairs. So first I started with the really dark burnt umber, and I used this small paintbrush because you need to get all inside here, and that's like really detailed. And then the next thing, I come with this brush, and this is just real chunky and very loose. I got this one at Dollar Tree. They come 3 to a pack. And so I just take a tiny bit, you dab into your paint, and then you take it off. And then I just do streaks, just very light. Now, if I get a real definite, like this is a real definite line, I kind of smear it out. I don't want them to be that defined a line in this color. This one, you can get your finger wet with your, your paint water. Put it on a paper towel or something. So, see how I'm doing? I just barely hit at it and get just the tiniest bit on the brush, and then go over it like that. And then as soon as this dries, you don't do it until this dries, because you don't want the colors to mix or they won't stand out as much. So if you don't know how to do dry brushing, you could even start with a piece of cardboard and just get your technique down. And so when this is dry, then the lighter color is really going to show up. So just barely touch with the lighter color. And I even smear it out, like I said. I like to smear it out. And I'll go over this again. But see how it's getting character and definition from just being a very dull, dark brown piece? Now it's got interest. So I did both sides. I don't even know where this piece is going, so I'll have to see where that comes. I think it must come at the end of the stairs. So enough about the stairs. Let me tell you what colors, though. These other two colors, this one is just a basic brown. This is Hobby Lobby's, I believe, Craft Smart. And then this is my favorite. This honey brown is the lightest color I'm using. So these are the colors that I went with. And it's not hard at all to figure out the faux finish. You just have to work at it, practice. Okay, so this house, I had a big old can of satin. It's Glidden, so it's actually not even a 2-coat, it may be a 3-coat. But what you need to do, and in the last video, I had this put together to show you how it was coming along, but really, you needed to have painted this ceiling before you put that floor on. And you could even paint this the back of the front wall before you start putting walls to it, because I had to go back in and paint them. And it's better, so you don't get it all over the floor, but you're going to cover the floor. So you might use, a piece of cardboard as you come up to floor, when you're painting walls, so that you don't get it all over the floor. Because you can stain floors and do a faux look. You stain them the same way you're doing the stairs with different colors. And then you come in after it's all dried and take a good pencil, like a real deep gray pencil, and draw lines to make it look like floorboards. And I've done that in the attic. It's a way of saving money kind of in your attic to make it look like a faux flooring. But go ahead and paint all your divider pieces, your divider walls. You definitely have to get this painted, because this is going to have stairs coming up from that direction. And you've got a door here. And so you need to, if you're going to put shelves to put any towels, because this is the bathroom, then you want to put your shelves in before you put, after you put your stairs in, put your shelves. but before you seal this up. But notice that, like up here, this is some stairs. This is the third floor stairs, stair railing. So you've got to paint it separate of painting all this white. Now the reason that the wood absorbs this paint, so when you go to put wallpaper on, if you don't put any kind of prime on the walls, it really soaks up the moisture. So this is a way of being able to re-wallpaper later. If you change your colors, you'll be able to strip it off easier. But it also helps with the moisture. The wood grabs this paint, and that way you put less wallpaper paste on there, whatever you choose to use. And Whitney LaBrie did a no, it wasn't. It was Bentley House Minis that did a comparison. Whitney uses GrandmaStover's that's made for miniatures, but Bentley House Minis did a whole comparison of different products to use with wallpaper. So you might want to use that. Try that. Go to her channel and see that. But I always spray my wallpapers. Before I put them in, I spray the front side and the back side at least 2 coats with a clear matte spray. And the reason is because any moisture you put to those wallpaper pieces, like the craft papers, the scrapbooking papers, it really gets a lot of moisture in them and they'll pucker. So really, you want to spray them to help with the moisture. And here's like an example of something. These are craft papers that you can use for flooring, like for kitchen flooring. You can put this in a dining room. This is diagonal. Diagonal gives emphasis. These were sprayed with an old can, and it don't use an old can of the matte spray because it gets frosty. So it put this frosty look onto it. Looks like like somebody has walked a whole lot on it, which I'm going to use this into a country store because it would be walked on a whole lot, a hardwood floor. But it wasn't meant to look like that. It was the can of spray was old. Okay, so you can get all that scrapbooking paper. Now I want to show you some other options. You can get carpet. And this carpet, this is a piece that, is from Houseworks miniature carpet. But basically, just go to a home decor store and ask where the remnants are and go through their remnants. Because this is like a velveteen. That's all it is a velveteen fabric that has a little bit of a pile to it. If you want to tell them that's what you're using it for. And here's some floor tile that's from What's Next. So you can buy that online if you don't want to use the paper. And there's also vinyl. This is Houseworks. This may be sold at this may be Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure if they sell this or not. I know they sell some flooring, but I think this came from there. So this is good for your bathroom, for your kitchen, and it's just a hard vinyl. $6.99 when I bought it, so that's approximately. And this is a weird flooring. It's got so many colors to it. It's kind of busy. I'm not sure I'll use it. I might stain it. If I stain it, to do it really dark. I don't know why I got this. Or I just got it and then it came this way and I didn't like it. I didn't send it back. But it's pretty busy in color. But you can get these sheets. It's just one sheet of flooring strips already glued down, and you just cut this with use your craft knife to cut these. Make your template first of your floor. Don't just cut into this because they're not cheap. So you make a template first and then lay your template on there. Okay, now this is a vinyl sheet that's tile, and this is for the ceiling. If you can see it, there you go. You can paint it. They come in different colors. But this is meant to go like in your kitchen on the ceiling. And to have that old world look. And it has installation instructions, what to glue, how to glue it up. But it's called tin ceiling. So you're supposed to paint it to look like tin, I would guess. Or paint it white. It looks like you painted over the tin. So there's just some options there. And if this is your first dollhouse, so you can go looking for these different options. Okay, speaking of options, when I was on Pinterest, I started seeing I saw some brick in the dollhouse. I saw a faux brick look, and I saw a faux block. These are done with stencils. I don't say it's easy. You make the mix, you mix it up, and you have to match up the stencil. It might not be like something for a young person, too young to do. Painting's a lot easier. But I've done it around the bases of dollhouses. I've done the stenciling, and that you want to do it with gravity. You know, let it dry on that one side so that your mix doesn't, you know, kind of move sideways. At least I did that way. But you can do it around, like I did bricking around my dollhouse, and I had no problem with it. But you're talking about doing an entire front and sides. Might be a little more work. So you want to watch the YouTube channels to see how to do that. And practice. You can reuse your stencil. If you get extra mix, you can practice a little bit. So I think we've said enough about this. I've got these little sticks in here to kind of keep things where the angle of what they needed to be. I had trouble with this third floor getting it into the slots of the front. It didn't seem like it was level. And let me see if I can pull this towards you. It didn't seem like things were where they needed to be level-wise. And so you can see I've got some tape here pulling the front into the slot. There's the tab in the slot. And I had to tap a little bit, I had to cut a little bit. I had to work it. But it did go in finally. But see, there's all these walls have to go into this third floor at the same time, getting all these slots in the right spot while you're putting in 3 slots across the front. So use your tape to hold things, pull things, any clamps that you might have. I did have to put some wood filler in here. And don't go all the way up with your paint, because you'll notice that the front of the dollhouse is going to stand up above the attic portion. So just work on getting all your ceilings painted and all your walls primed. I use that Glidden satin. This wood's so old, it just really absorbed fast. And so I think that's important to put some kind of, and that's a satin, and you can use the satin all over. You could use it on the outside. I stay with satin, matte or satin. Ceilings, you can be matte or satin. But I just don't get too much into the glosses. Maybe the trim with a semi-gloss. Because a lot of the sprays that are satin are really pretty glossy looking. But I wanted to show you a dollhouse that I found on Pinterest. And when I was thinking about this dollhouse, and I was thinking about anything I might want to change about it, and I found this lady's dollhouse, and oddly, she changed everything that I was thinking about. Her name is Susan Edwards. You'll see this. If you go on Pinterest, you'll see this. This was done with a block stencil. Now see, that's a lot of work. Now what you can do is use egg carton. It would be a lot of work as well. You'd sit and cut all these little pieces out, and then you start gluing them on. I've done it on a castle, It takes time. It's a labor of love. But if you're buying eggs in the carton, it's free and it's easy to control. But this, once you get your technique down, would be good as well and go faster, I imagine, than all the cutting up of your egg carton. Okay, so she changed out, looking at it, she changed out the door, and she took the porch off. That's what it is. She took the porch off. Now you see she did kind of a bricky look, but short and long, staggered around the base, and then did this. Now also notice her coloring. Her coloring is kind of a faded on the lighter trim and then a black roof. So you get a whole different effect design-wise when you change these colors. If you went with, say you went with one of these blues, say we were just going with this blue right here. You could see that with the white, that would be really pretty. But this white, this is going to stand out. This art is going to stand out tremendously with any color that's contrasting to it, unless you do this dark. So I saw that. I saw a house that was about this color intensity, a little more green than this. And then this was way darker. Like if this was the house color and this was the trim color, it made that big bold front kind of fade back. And then this was all gray, a gray kind of steely color. So I may do that. I can't decide about leaving it white. It's such a bold statement. But she took care of it by doing this blocking and doing the color of blocking, the limestone block. And I did a project, if you're wondering how to do like the painting, the faux finishing of egg carton or blocking, I did a treasure shop. It's an antique store, and I show you how you get the colors and to do egg carton at least. Okay, so the changes she made, besides taking away the porch and putting in her own doors, is there's a wall right here. And that's the first thing. She took that wall out. And then she ordered this banister railing, all these pieces. She ordered that and put those on along with the baseboards. And she gave this an real open look here, where it has a wall right here. And this came into the kitchen, and it has that right there. It has this window set up, and I think your sink probably goes right in here. That's reversed. So that's right here, and your sink would sit here. Well, she turned this into the living room where it's all open, and she put this wall right here curves with a small little tiny fireplace. It's about that big, and this really looks 1/16 to me, even though it says 1/12, because these, like, the fireplaces are so small. And so she took that curved wall out and put this big fireplace by putting a straight wall, just a straight divided wall like this right here, straight divided. Okay, so then she turned this room into the kitchen. So, see what I'm saying? Is this had a curved wall, this had a wall here. She reversed these. And I believe this still has the walls, the short walls. But she turned this into the kitchen. And these wonderful floors, they're paper, I believe. This might be the vinyl. But you can get the craft paper and put trims all around them. And then you see her doors that she changed out. See it, you can see through it. She did make this to sell. So then we go upstairs, and this was supposed to have another staircase, which I am building this here. I'm decided to go ahead and just build this the way that they intended it to be built, because I can't make up my mind about what I would leave out. and what I would include. And if I start changing things, then I have to go and buy wood because these have doorways in them, and she got rid of the doorway. So that doorway has to be filled up. So I would have to recut this piece of wood here to go straight back. So I can do that later if I choose to do it. I'm going to get into the papering of it and then just decide. But I just thought, you know, I'm just going to make it the way it was intended because I haven't made a Greenleaf before. And because pieces go from one floor to the next floor, it just seemed mind-boggling until I made one. And I don't know, I've never had this trouble with other dollhouses. But these are made so differently with the things going from one floor to the next floor, and with the tab and slot technique that they have. So, but I think they have the most wonderful designs. So I don't want to discount Greenleafs. They have the most beautiful designs in dollhouses. Okay, so she got rid of the staircase that goes up there, and she just has one wall. And I believe she moved this wall over, recut the doorway. So this would be a bigger bathroom, kind of. And then a bigger, the staircase area went for the bedroom. This is real dark. It doesn't really look that dark. It's more of a deep raspberry color. And then up here had a staircase coming up, which you saw my stair railing. Comes up here. And then there's a chimney that goes right in here. Now nobody likes the chimney. So she's got a chimney up here on the picture. So I'm just going to take the chimney out. I can put a chimney anywhere on the ceiling or on the top of the roof that I want to later. So that I've decided one thing. I'm just not going to have the chimney. But she also put in 3 window seats up in this attic like it was a children's playroom. And then she put these real pretty pieces of wallpaper on the ceiling. And this actually, you'll see other pictures if you go into her blog. There's beautiful ceilings, designs up on the ceiling, papers that she's Mod Podged, I guess, up onto the ceiling. Real pretty. This is just one shot. But I wanted to share this, sorry, shook the camera. I wanted to share this with you because there's so many options. And now, the one thing, you would have to buy more of this plywood, this thin plywood, and you can find it on Temu. You can find it anywhere, I'm sure. But you would have to get a pack of it large enough to redo these doorways. Because she moved this opening over, she's put this one in solid, and this one in solid, so you'd have to have more wood to cut those. And I've done that in the past dollhouses when we, the easier ones that were not as much of this going from floor to floor with walls. So it can be done. It's not that hard, and she's done it, and here it's beautiful. But again, it's Susan Edwards, and you want to go in and look at her various pictures of she explains what she did and has pictures. And it's called the Completed Willowcrest Estate. And her site is Busy with Cricky. Busy with Cricky. 'Cause she likes to do the cricket. So you can find her there too. And there was other people's pictures that you can get inspiration from. So I just wanted to share those things with you. And I'm going to, get onto the wallpapering after I get I've got to wallpaper the area that the stairwell goes into. So that's going to happen next. And then we'll pick back up with wallpapering. I still haven't decided on my color. Don't know. So you'll be surprised when I'm surprised, when I finally decide. And how you coordinate. You want to coordinate your wallpapers to, let me see. She's done pink here. That's recess. That's, the room back there. And then picks it back up here, and she's done blues across here. This one kind of went wrong, but it's not quite that dark, but it's still pretty dark. But it does match the fireplace. So that does kind of cross over, but you try to go kind of crisscross and pick colors back up when you're doing your wallpapers. So, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm still trying to grow my channel, and I appreciate you stopping by to see where I am on the Willowcrest, and I hope you're building one of the Greenleafs. These are wonderfully beautiful designed dollhouses, and you can go on Pinterest and see all the different colors, kind of help you get inspired. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.